Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to check out the 36CE guitar from Jasmine. If you guys don't know, Jasmine is the budget brand for Takamine guitars. Takamine is a very respected acoustic guitar player in the acoustic guitar market, used by many artists and respected by many artists the world around. Now this one is the JD-36CE Acoustic-Electric guitar. I picked this up for about $150 Canadian, that's taxes and delivery included. And in the US, it's probably close to $120, taxes and delivery included. And it was a fantastic buy for what you get. And I'm gonna show you that in a second. But first, I put this box up just to show you, like, see this thing that's taped right here? That was a hole that the guitar came in. I'll pop the image up on the screen. Yeah, this box came with a deep, deep hole in it. Now I've patched it up because I bought this guitar for my nephew for Christmas, because he's looking to get into a bigger sized guitar. I bought him acoustic when he was a lot younger, and he is very much into guitars now. So this one is gonna take him into the future for the time being, for the foreseeable future. But when I saw this hole, I had to open it up to make sure everything was good, and I figured I'd bring you guys along for the ride and what I found. Now, that hole, I've patched it up so that I can gift it up effectively again, but this is the only thing that was covering this guitar, and this plastic bag. So you can imagine my horror when I saw that, and the way the packaging works in this thing is not very good. So if you're getting it delivered, just beware of what you might find. But luckily, this guitar here, we can go to the overhead camera here. It came and turned out pretty good. You can see that there was no damage. I guess it would have hit like right here, and it came in. Okay, now I've tuned it up. I played it a little bit, and I'm going to take you through all of it. It also came with, just the only thing it came with was a truss rod adjustment tool. And that's important actually, because of the way this guitar came to me. Now let's go back to the regular thing. First impressions, looks beautiful. It actually, felt good on the hands. The neck isn't too thick, which is great for beginners. Action is very low, which I'll show you in a second. The shininess, it's got pearl rosette over here. I can go to overhead again. It's got a pearl rosette. It's got a double racing stripe along the edges here, which are nice touches. The Jasmine logo in and of itself has kind of like this beautiful pearl, which is a wow, because that takes a lot of work. The tuning keys tune really well, which is actually fantastic. The nut there looks like a plastic or a tusk type situation. It's hard to tell, but I'm imagining plastic because I can see it, where the strings are sitting, and there's a little bit of like some burrs happening, which typically happens on cheaper plastic. Now, fit and finish wise, you can see along this edge right here, there is kind of like these weird blemishes on like the last bunch of frets, but I think what that is, it's a bit of like the polyurethane lacquer, or polyurethane lacquer essentially coming up over top of this. Other than it being cosmetic, it's not that big a deal. But of anything, that is the only thing, and I'll get the remote camera to show you that up close. Now on top of that, you have your input jack, and then this is where your battery pack comes. It comes with a battery, which is nice because out of the box you can play it, especially if you have an amp. It comes with also the jack here. It's really easily accessible, and it's just a little pop panel to take the battery out. Now I've already moved the battery cover and popped it in. The battery's cheap, but it doesn't matter because it gets you playing right out of the box. Another quick look overhead. You can see the guitar preamp is pretty nice. it comes with a tuner, comes with bass controls, middle controls, treble, presence, and volume. I put everything to north. It's also come with a little tuner. That little power button there allows you to turn the tuner on. If we turn the tuner on real quick, you can see that it's blue when it's not in key. And then when you tune it up, it'll turn green. There you go. Turns green, which is a nice visual addition for anyone learning how to tune their guitar. So we'll turn that off, just not to ruin the battery. Turn it back to camera 1. So overall, that is the overview. And of course, it comes with a strap button on this side and another one on the bottom here, which seems like a weird tension peg, but it's totally fine. Inside the sound hole, you will find the access point for the truss rod. Now, when I first played it and I strung it up and everything, chords were playing weird. I was getting weird fret buzz, which made me think of two things. Because it came untuned, the guitar needed time to adjust. The neck needed time so that the tension was pulling on a little bit, creating a little bit of relief or straight relief in order for the strings to clear. So my first thing to do was just to leave it, tune it up, let it sit for a few days, and then come back to it, tune it up, which I did today to see where it sits nicely. So it's sitting tuned, and I'm going to see if it plays that C chord properly. We'll see. And largely it does. But I still wanted to figure out two things: the straightness of the neck, and see if there are any problematic frets that are going to cause issues down the road. Now, I've played this fretboard up and down. I already know there are going to be problematic frets. And the way you figure that out is with one of these. And this is a fret rocker. A fret rocker goes across 3 frets, and if one is high, it rocks back and forth, right? Pretty simple. And that's why you have multiple length edges here, because on the high one, 3 are going to rock across a smaller measurement than 3 somewhere around here, right? That's going to be a smaller measurement than 3 down here, which is going to be a bigger measurement, right? So 3 down here. This was going to be the problematic fret given what was going on with the C. So if I go on top of that, you can hear the rocking. So that's a problematic fret. And they exist all the way up and down this fretboard. I'm not going to go over them, but I'm going to say in these situations when it's a beginner guitar for a beginner person, if it works, it works. If it don't fix it if it ain't broke. And which is the state it's in right now. So I'm not going to do any fret work to it. I would have done it if I kept this guitar for myself. But since I'm handing it off, I'm going to check back in on it in a year. If there are any weird fret issues or fret buzzing issues, I will adjust. Now we're going to adjust, or we're going to measure the straightness of the neck using a not straight edge, just to see where that sits. And this has 2 different scale lengths. One should correspond to this guitar, and that's not this one. It's going to be the Gibson 24 3/4, I believe. No, wait. Okay, that one's it. Okay, great. So we set this here, and then we look down and see right around the middle area, see if there's any space in there. You would typically take a measuring tool to measure that, and there should be a little bit of relief. So the neck shouldn't be dead straight. It should be bowing that way a little bit, enough to get maybe just a sliver of a millimeter going. But we're going to look at this real quick. I'm actually going to move it all the way here. So you can see there's like absolutely no relief on that. This neck is dead straight, pretty dead straight. In fact, it might even be, no, it's pretty dead straight. Yeah. Now, dead straight isn't a bad thing, but typically you want just slight relief. You don't want dead straight, you want slight relief on the neck, and that way the strings have a bit of ability to clear the frets that are in front of it. Reduces fret buzz, but this one's playing pretty good as it sits, so I'm not going to bother with that. Let's go over it. Sounds pretty good. I'm not going to do it. We're going to get copyright strike, but sounds pretty good to me. And the action is really good on this as it sits, so I'm not going to do any adjustments to it. I typically, again, if I was keeping this for myself, I'd give it more relief by popping the truss rod adjustment tool into the truss rod adjustment hole, which sits right in here, and give it a little bit more of that, and then adjust from there. I would also probably do a whole fret leveling and recrowning, but I'm not going to do that. As Film Ignite says, there's no such thing as cheap guitars or expensive guitars anymore. They're just fast guitars and slow guitars, in that guitars are built quickly or they're built slowly and carefully. And this is definitely a quick guitar, and the way you figure that out is how the frets are. But for the price point it sits at, for the region of the world it comes from Indonesia, where the humidity is like crazy and can create all kinds of fret havoc. It's great. It's great. It's typically of what you're going to expect for this price range of guitars, and I wouldn't screw with it at all. So we got that down. We can see that it's a spruce top. It's got beautiful, I don't know, mahogany sides maybe. I don't know if they're veneers. I don't know. You guys can look those specs up online. It looks like it's got a rosewood bridge and a rosewood fingerboard, which are nice additions other than all the other beautiful things. This is definitely a playable guitar, and the only thing left to do, I think, is to plug it in to see what it sounds like. Now I have the levels set at 12 o'clock on all the things except for the presence. I have it set at a quarter. Presence is just going to give you a more crisp sound. It can give you some feedback as well, so be careful with that adjustment, but it gives you more than enough to adjust, including volume control, to micro adjust from there. So this is going to be plugged directly into the sound. You guys are going to be able to hear what this sounds like. I will not until I hear the recording, and hopefully it sounds great. So let me go turn on the audio on the other end and we'll test out the sound a little bit. Okay, here we go. So it's plugged in. Let's see if we can get some sound. All right. All right, we're getting audio out of it now. Let me play a couple chords. Not bad. Not bad at all. So that pretty much is it. It's not meant to be a deep dive into this guitar. It was just meant to be first impressions. So I'm glad you guys came along with me for this ride, and I think it's going to make a great gift for my nephew who's just learning to play and needs a guitar that's going to help him understand the nature of a full-size acoustic guitar, the nature of having an electric output on an acoustic guitar, and it's going to grow with him into his guitar playing. And the price is great. So I want to thank Jasmine and Takamine for creating a guitar at a price point that's going to make me a favorite uncle this Christmas. They're not sponsoring this video, just thought I'd put it out there because there's probably a lot of you wondering, is this thing legit? And it allows you to figure out whether or not it's worth the price, because it might seem too good to be true. Now, I've seen these being offered at brick and mortar stores, so you might be able to avoid that weird packaging issue or the packaging fright that I had when this thing arrived. So you can find them at brick and mortar stores. I imagine Jasmine is making use of its distribution and marketing network to put these in stores at a decent price point and get into that market. So it's a great option if you guys are thinking of picking up a beginner electric acoustic guitar for a loved one or for yourself. Now, we have a lot of videos coming forward, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be doing a lot of these going forward. There's lots of gear in this space and gear that I want to review that doesn't necessarily have to do with guitar. It's going to be done with a lot of other things as well. And all the gear in this channel and in this video is going to be listed below. When you click on that, it sends a little kickback to me. It doesn't cost you anything extra, so make sure you utilize those if you guys are going to pick that up. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.